I'm not building walls, I'm building bridges to greatness. Demanding excellence, no time for complacence. Act right or act out, the choice is always clear. My presence is my power, my standards draw the line here. This is the elevation protocol. Rising above the chaos, taking control. My values not negotiable, my worth is my law. Surrounding myself with excellence, that's what I saw. I'm not building walls, I'm building bridges to greatness. Demanding excellence, no time for complacence. Act right or act out, the choice is always clear. My presence is my power, my standards draw the line here. This is the elevation protocol. Rising above the chaos, taking control. My values not negotiable, my worth is my law. Surrounding myself with excellence, that's what I saw. This is the elevation protocol. Rising above the chaos, taking control. My values not negotiable, my worth is my law. Surrounding myself with excellence, that's what I saw. I'm not building walls, I'm building bridges to greatness. Demanding excellence, no time for complacence. Act right or act out, the choice is always clear. My presence is my power, my standards draw the line here. I'm not building walls, I'm building bridges to greatness. Demanding excellence, no time for complacence. Act right or act out, the choice is always clear. My presence is my power, my standards draw the line here. Bridges to greatness, demanding excellence, no time for complacence. Act right or act out, the choice is always clear. My presence is my power, my standards draw the line here. I'm not building walls, I'm building bridges to greatness. Demanding excellence, no time for complacence. Act right or act out, the choice is always clear. My presence is my power, my standards draw the line here. I'm not building walls, I'm building bridges to greatness. Demanding excellence, no time for complacence. Act right or act out, the choice is always clear. My presence is my power, my standards draw the line here. My standards draw the line here. My standards draw the line here. I'm not building walls.
All right. How you doing, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to This and That. I'm your host, Xander, where we're talking about this, that, and everything in between. Uh look, now we got to Monday the hard way, man. But we made it. Now, I understand we about 10, 15 minutes late. And look, we don't let the sun rise without going live, even though we don't always start on time. So we ask you guys to like and subscribe and also hit those notification buttons. Now, you can also take some time and go and take a look at some of the stuff we got going on in the membership. I know I'm behind with putting up some information this week, but I got some stuff coming up for y'all because I know we got the dividend rotation strategy we're going to be talking about tomorrow, and a lot of the walkthroughs from a lot of the stuff that I have covered over the past 2 weeks is going to be distributed every day into the membership or throughout the week in the membership over the next 30 days, plus all of the information that I'm adding to the membership in the month of April. So there's a lot of stuff coming up. Um, with us being live 7 nights a week, we have different topics every night of the week. But I asked you guys to come at the top of the hour just in case I got some updates. Like I just found out some stuff happened where the United States is responding to Spain. I haven't gotten the details about that, but I'm going to be trying to piece that together with next Monday's topic about all of the stuff related to how the United States is not happy with Spain, because I did cover Spain last a couple of weeks ago, and the issues with United States and Spain's relationship might impact our abilities to receive trade from Spain. So I'm going to let you guys know what happened to that. Now, we also understand DHS is still shut down. Tax season is right around the corner. April 15th is the deadline. Um, TikTok still running strong. Oracle stocks are showing a reflection of TikTok progress. These are things that you guys, are supposed to be getting updates on, right? Now, beyond that, and the dividend rotation strategy, all of the stocks that are due this week were in the membership last week for this week, where ex dividend dates through today were posted. So I'm going to be posting more ex dividend dates tonight through the rest of the week for the upcoming week, and any that is supposed to be due for this week, so that you guys are ready for those. Now, uh, starting off on Sundays, we have questions and comments from the fans. That's typically where you guys have questions to improve yourselves and your relationships. Then Monday, we deal with Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday is business and finance topics, but Monday specifically is how politics today, Monday, negatively impacts your ability to make, save, and invest money. A lot of stuff just happened with Donald Trump talking about the tankers that came through. And I wanted to just give you guys detailed information about that, because while unfortunately I am not on True Social yet, I should be, but I'm debunking some of the myths that occurred. So um, today we're going to be discussing the ins and outs of that in length. Tuesdays, we talk about ways to make, save, and invest money. Tomorrow, we're going to be talking about, like I said before, the dividend rotation strategy. But we're also going to be talking about in upcoming Tuesdays ways to make money, ways to budget money, ways to invest that money, ways to make money online that doesn't require your in-person presence, ways to automate your money. The same way, I think Wolfman comes in and talks about the paintball scenario that he has, where he's got like 200 some acres of land, and he's got a paintball set up out there, and he's making like $1,000 in 3 hours, which is a little over $300 an hour. But as fantastic as that can be, he works a 16 to 18 hours a day, 6 days a week, so he's not really getting much time off. And I tell him, if you're getting $1,000 in 3 hours for a paintball field, you should be able to pay two employees to run that paintball field and still walk away with more than 450, or not 450, $250 an hour worth of profit without having to do anything. So automating whatever business or opportunity or idea or vision that you have is one of the best things that you can do to prepare yourself for retirement. Now, last week we talked about 30-year plans. I typically, after we talk about everything else, I talk to you guys about your 20-year plan, how you guys can set yourself up for it, having the capabilities to stop working. You don't necessarily have to stop working, but you have to be set up so that if you wanted to stop working, you could. And that's where Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, we give you guys more information: personal development, self improvement, relationship topics, networking, socialization, building your brand. And then we give you more information about negotiating promotions, raises, severance packages, and even retirement packages. So once we get to the reasons why your 20-year plan is important and how to prepare for that, how to use that to prepare for emergencies, how to diversify on that, that's when the 20-year plan starts making sense. Um, and then, you know, that kind of brings us back to where we are right now. So with everything changing so much in the world right now, a lot of the stuff that used to be good isn't good anymore. A lot of the methods that used to be great are not great anymore. A lot of the ways that people used to make money, you can't make money anymore. A lot of the manual labor jobs where you could just get into it without a degree don't exist anymore. They're being replaced with AI. The requirements are starting to become harder. You're still getting basic minimum wage to have 2 or 3 degrees, 100, $200,000 worth of student debt, to be flipping burgers at McDonald's and wearing mascot uniforms at Disney World. And you got to find another way. You got to find another way. I was just talking to somebody just yesterday, as a matter of fact, about how he was worried about his green card status specifically because his job is not providing him the promotion that he needs, and he's been with this company for several years. He's been doing his visa status for several years, like 4 or 5 years now. And if he doesn't meet certain standards and his job doesn't negotiate his green card by the end of April, he may have to start over the a year and 18-month wait that it takes for him to meet to the next level, which is still a 10-year track from today. And it's like it's 2 extra years to wait, but it's frustration when things don't go the way you wanted to go. And he's in the tech industry, semiconductors and all of this other stuff. So, you know, with the 250,000 people that got fired in October of 2025, I tell you guys, you have to build your brand. You have to build financial stability where you have money coming from multiple areas. You're not just depending on the stock market, but if you have a good portfolio from the stock market that's paying dividends, if some areas tank, other areas flourish, you're still making money, but you can diversify to other areas to make money for you so that you have more money coming in. This puts you in a fantastic position where if one thing doesn't work, if the stock market tanks, you're not selling stocks, you're getting paid off of dividends. So the stock market can tank. As long as the company doesn't go out of business, you're still getting paid your shares. You got real estate property. But one thing I didn't think about, real estate investment trusts are going to get hit, loss of share value while the troops are deployed. So real estate investment trusts are now operating at 21 and 22% interest because nobody's paying rent because all the fucking troops are over there in Iran blowing shit up. Now, the plus side about that is they're still paying dividends. It's just way fucking cheaper. So what happens is that if you buy during the war as many shares as you can, when the war is over and the stock value of those shares go up, you're still going to be getting 20% plus the growth. Those are the things that I talk to you guys about when I tell y'all about how you can capitalize on chaos, right? Not just buying Shell, Chevron, and ExxonMobil because Venezuela got conquered and Cuba's about to get conquered and Iran is being conquered right now by Donald Trump at like 87 years old, right? Man had taken over the world before he died. The fact is that you can capitalize on certain things that not too many people think about. But even with starting up a real estate investment operation where you take your profits from your brokerage account and buy real estate, and then you use the rental property, the income from the rental properties to expand, you go from depending on just your brokerage account to having your brokerage account and your real estate investment company both paying you assets. And if you're making enough money to hire other people to work on the expansion as well, they can continue to expand on your assets, which allows you to have more money in more places. If you're not required to get up and go to work every day, when you do get up and go to work, you're trying to figure out how to stretch not to stretch your money to pay your bills, but how to stretch your financial opportunities longer so that there's more money there for you to get paid on in the back end. Because just like I said yesterday, if the if you had a $400,000 brokerage account and you took $200,000 out and you used that to buy a house for $200,000, it was a $150,000 house with a 200,000 or a $50,000 repair cost with a value of like 350, $400,000 after repair value. You can knock something like that out, right? Put a tenant in there, they're paying the rent, you're paying down your brokerage account because you leverage your brokerage account to do this. And then you can find yourself in a position where you can leverage that house for $200,000, 150, $200,000, and take that and put that towards $1 million rental property. That's now paying you 10, 15, $20,000 a month, 100, 200, $300,000 a year, where now that multi-family apartment complex scenario can now pay for itself and the single family home and the brokerage account and pay down your debt even faster. Before your debt zeroes out, you can turn around and leverage that $1 million property. Even at 50%, $1 million property is $500,000 that you can put towards At 10%, a $5 million property. At 20%, $2.5 million property, which means that $1 million multifamily home can give you leverage to buy many, many more. And all of them is paying you dividends. All of them is paying you revenue, and you're paying people to manage it for you, so you don't have to leave the house and go collect the rent. You don't have to leave the house to fix the stuff. You don't have to leave the house to cut the grass, but you're making money, make money for you. And if you're getting paid from America and you say, well, I'm going to go live in the Philippines, where the requirement for a digital visa, a long-term visa over there, is $24,000 a year. If you're making double that, triple that, quadruple that, you're living a life of Riley in the Philippines. You can build you an American style house in the Philippines for $250,000 with and own, or not own, but like lease the land, and have yourself set up to a magnitude where you don't got to do nothing. Everything is paid for from your money that's being sent to you from your American success. All it requires is for you to find another way to set yourself up. Now, Steven says, that'll be the first one I buy once I pay off my credit cards. You're going to keep talking about paying off your credit cards. I don't know, man. I will be buying them brokerage accounts, because if your credit card is at like 22% interest, what I would do with a credit card, you got a stable job, this is what I would do. Your credit cards aren't maxed out. What I would do is I would take my standard monthly bills, put them on my credit card without maxing out my credit card. I would take my paycheck, put it on the credit cards. Certain credit cards, I would first of all ask your creditor while you're in good standings to move your pay date. You want to have some of your credit cards on like 3 to 5 days after your first paycheck, and some of your credit cards 3 to 5 days after your second paycheck. That way, you get paid, you pay your credit card every time. The billing cycle is going to roll over like 2 weeks to a month before the bill is due. But you want to make sure that it rolls over when you got money to put on it, so that you can pay it down before it rolls over. Now, this is what's going to happen if you do that. So, say you get paid on the 15th, the end of the billing cycle is the 18th or the 21st. Then what happens is you can take your whole paycheck, put it on that credit card, bring that credit card down to $2. The billing cycle rolls over a few days later. Then on like the 30th or the first, you not max it, but like 90% that bad boy, and just charge everything that you need to the credit card, so that the cash that you put on your credit card is not lost. Your other credit card that's at the beginning of the month might be rolling, your paycheck might be on like the 5th. The credit card might roll over on like the 10th. You take your pay you After you did what you did with the first credit card, you take your paycheck, you put it on your second credit card. Now this is after you pay your rent. You take your second credit card, put the rest of the money on the second credit card, and charge on that second credit card. Typically, what you do is you charge to the credit card what you could have paid in cash, but you put all the extra cash that you have on that credit card, pay that credit card down. Because you brought the credit card down to like $2 to $5, there's you're not getting hit with interest rates. You're not feeling those interest rates. Then, as soon as that credit card rolls over, a couple days after it rolls over, you charge everything you would have charged in cash to that credit card, because you put your gas, your food, your car insurance, your phone bill, your cable bill, your light bill, and if you're allowed to do it, if you're paying online with your mortgage or your rent, health insurance, all of it is going on your credit cards. Your whole paycheck is in your hands. All you got to do is just put it on your credit cards. Overpaying your credit cards, paying it down. It juggles the bill. And as you juggle the bill, instead of being hit with the interest and losing value in the money that you have, you're knocking everything down. Now, what can happen is you can still take $25 a month out of your money, put it into the brokerage account, and still do this process. If you're making more money than you spend every month, then you're still able to take $25 a month, put it into your brokerage account. In putting $25 a month into your brokerage account, you can then pay the $32 a year to use that brokerage account. You can then buy it, and that's really 2 months, because $25 first month, $25 second month, take $32 out, put the rest into the brokerage account, put the rest into the stocks that you want to pick up. And then every month you're going to be doing the same thing. Now, the difference is every time you get a little extra money, you're paying down all of your credit cards, you're rolling all of your debt, You're bringing everything down. You no longer need to charge extra shit to your credit cards. You're able to sit lovely and have a bunch of extra cash rolling around. Now you have the opportunity to say, well, let me, instead of doing $25, let me do 50. Instead of doing 50, let me do 75. Oh, snap, I just got a bunch of extra money from my student loans. Let me put that in my brokerage account. Or let me pay off my credit card so that I don't need to pay my credit cards anymore and then take the remaining money and then put that into my brokerage account. Either way it goes, there is a way. If you put off investing until you have paid off debt, you have lost out on the opportunity cost of generating revenue that can help you pay off the debt. Plain and simple. Now, if you don't want to roll your credit cards like that, you can just overpay your credit card. You have a minimum $50 payment, put $60 down, leave it up there, and then take the rest of the money after you finish paying your rent and paying all of the primary bills. Turn around and put every extra dollar you have into your brokerage account. You're still paying your debt, but you're also paying your brokerage account. When your brokerage account exceeds your debt, you have the ability to take the dividends from your brokerage account and start using that to pay your debt. Now, instead of paying your debt directly from your paycheck, you're paying your debt from the interest rates of your brokerage account. Because how many credit cards you got? $5,000 worth of credit cards? That's at 10%. They're going to be asking for $500 a month worth of payments. $500 worth of payments on a brokerage account that's doing 10% return. That's a $5,000 brokerage account. If you could put away $10,000, you're able to put out $1,000 worth of dividends from your brokerage account on 10%. But with those real estate investment trusts operating at 21%, if you had $5,000, you'd be getting $1,000 back. So if you had $5,000 worth of credit card debt, you had $5,000 in your brokerage account could use the interest to pay off your credit cards, and the principal is still there. And the extra cash that you're no longer putting on your credit cards could now go onto your brokerage account to increase the principal, and your debt is still being paid down. There's no reason for you to waste time in your life at 36, going on 37 years old, to wait until you pay off debt by the time you're 42 so that you can then start saving money after 42. You should have started saving money 3 months ago. You should have started investing money 3 months ago because you can exceed your debt because you're not buying extra bullshit now. You are now making wise decisions. So you're not wasting money anymore. So all the extra money you would have wasted on entertainment, that can go into your brokerage account. Half of it can go on debt, the other half can go into your brokerage account. And then after you finish paying off your bills, everything extra goes into your brokerage account. Build that bad boy up and then take the dividends and pay your debt. Especially when your brokerage account deposits the money into your bank account before your credit card statement rolls over. You can take that, put that onto your credit card statement. Then you can take the cash from your paycheck and put that onto your brokerage account. You're going to say, oh, well, isn't that like double standards because you're kind of crossing each other over? No, because if you've got $100 coming in from your brokerage account or $200 coming in from your brokerage account covering the minimum payments of your credit cards, and you got $500 that you no longer have to put on your credit cards to put onto your brokerage account, you're increasing your principal of your brokerage account and paying the debt on your credit cards. So you have the capabilities to find another way. You just have to think of something different. But as long as you keep the mentality that I'm going to pay my debt off first and then I'm going to invest, you're just going to stay broke. Uh, Special shout out to Mr. DGF. You're asking me, do I have a Series 65? I don't see the relevance in that question. Um, because I'm explaining to Stephen how you don't need to wait to invest. You can start investing now. It just requires you to change your mentality on how you split your money up. If you can find an extra $10 to buy you a bag of chips, if you can find you an extra $5 to go shoot pool with a friend, if you can find an extra $75 to buy the new GTA 6, if you can find an extra $200 to buy your PlayStation, you can find money to invest. If you used to smoking, you can find money to buy a pack of cigarettes. You can find it because right now you got Prospect Capital is like $2.47 a share. Ellington Real Estate Investment Trust is like $4.44 a share. A a um a gallon of milk costs more than two, 3 shares of stock right now. So uh He's asking, do you have a CFP? I still don't see the relevance in your questions because I'm talking to this man about changing the way he thinks about life. So, um, my point is that the difference between buying steak and buying ground beef, and then instead of paying $30 a pound or $30 for a pack of steak, and instead buying $10 for a pack of ground beef, just the change of the cost of your groceries, that extra $10 or $20 that you saved, you could put that into the brokerage account. There's no reason why you're um there's no reason why you're not investing in yourself. You just haven't found the confidence or the motivation to do it yet. Now, since I know a lot of y'all had came for us to talk about the Donald Trump situation, so let's go ahead and get into that real quick. Uh, there was a gift that's worth like billions, right? A personal present from the sworn enemy of the United States, right? A fleet of oil tankers that offered up as a token of respect sounded like a plot of a political thriller. High stakes scene where a charismatic leader bends a rival nation to his will, right? It's also a story that Donald Trump has told his supporters. And like so many of his favorite stories, it comes with a visual. Trump in the cabinet room during the Iran war, waving a Sharpie and talking about pins, while his own team is supposed to be talking about missiles, markets, and lives on the line. Now, in late March 2026, amid a deepening conflict, or sorry, March of 2026, amid a deepening conflict with Iran, Trump claimed that he had received a very big gift. Originally, he didn't want to talk about what the gift was. Now he says that the gift, as a gesture of goodwill during tense negotiations, Iran allowed somewhere between 8 and 20 oil tankers to pass safely through the Strait of Hormuz. He called it a present and a tribute to the United States, an explosive claim that, if true, would rewrite our understanding of the US Iran relations. But what does that claim actually mean? When you pull on this thread, what do you find? A story of masterful diplomacy, or does the whole thing unravel into political spin? So we decided to investigate it a little bit. We dug into maritime records, economic data, and the real time events in one of the most volatile regions on Earth. What we found is a story far more complex and far more fascinating than a simple gift. It's going to be a story about political narratives and the hidden mechanics of the global oil economy and the profound difference between a good headline and hard facts. This isn't just about one statement. It is about understanding how the world of internal power, money, and oil actually works. First, let's get the claim straight. In a series of statements in late March 2026, Donald Trump announced that Iran had given the United States a present. During the cabinet meeting, he specified that this gift was Iran's authorizing of the passage of 10 oil tankers through the Strait of Hormuz. And they say to show you we are real and serious. We're going to give you 8 oil tankers, Trump stated, adding that 2 more followed. He later increased that number, telling the Financial Times it was now 20 tankers. So he framed this as a personal victory, a direct result of his tough negotiating style and a sign of respect from a new, more reasonable Iranian leadership. The imaginary is powerful. A fleet of steel giants landed with black gold, allowed to pass as a tribute from one leader to another. This all happened at a moment of extreme tension. Since late February 2026, the United States and Israel had been engaging in military conflict with Iran, which has effectively shut down the Strait of Hormuz, a critical artery for global oil. We've been covering it for the past couple of weeks. Shipping traffic had plummeted by over 90%, and oil prices had surged. Against this backdrop of near war, Trump's claim of a friendly present was very stunning. So, our first step was simple: verify the details. Was there a fleet of 10 or 20 tankers flagged to Pakistan as Trump claimed? That was a given to the United States. The answer isn't a simple yes or no. The claim itself isn't about a physical transfer of assets, it is about permission for safe passage. This is a critical distinction. The United States wasn't getting billions in free oil, other countries were simply getting their shipments. This is where the story gets interesting. To understand the absurdity of calling this a present, you have to know what was actually happening in the Strait of Hormuz. Far from a place of goodwill, it had become a militarized checkpoint where Iran was asserting maximum control. Now, the story wasn't one of gifts, but of seizure attacks and brinkmanship. Throughout late 2025 and early 2026, Iran's Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, IRGC, engaged in a pattern of seizing foreign tankers, often in a retaliation for U.S. sanctions enforcement. Then, after the conflict began in February 2026, the IRGC effectively closed the strait, attacking ships and bringing traffic to a standstill. Instead of offering free passages, reports from March 2026 indicates Iran was setting up what amounted to a toll booth. Ships that wanted to go through had to sail into Iranian territorial waters, provide full details of their cargo and crew to IRGC approved intermediaries, and in some cases, pay a fee for an escort. One ship was reported to have paid $2 million for passage. Iran was letting friendly nations like China, India, and Pakistan get their oil, but on the Iranian terms, okay, which is far different than what we thought was going down. Make sure that y'all like and subscribe and mash those reaction buttons as we cover this. And if you guys have some more information about it, if you're watching us from Twitter or Twitch, or if you're looking at us from the shorts reel on YouTube, or if you're paying attention to us from the long forms on YouTube, you guys feel free to throw some appropriate comments in related to tonight's topic. Now, the idea in this environment, Iran would suddenly present package or passages to the American president defies the facts on the ground. It's like claiming a toll booth operator is giving you a gift by letting you use the highway after you paid for it. The documented actions of the Iranian state were explicitly about leverage. They were using their control over the strait to inflict economic pain and to reward countries that defied US sanctions, not to offer presents to Washington. Now we understand that as I continue through this, we are still bombing the fuck out of Iran. So if there was some sort of gift or present or special treatment coming from Iran flooding towards the United States, wouldn't we cease fire? Wouldn't we stop blowing shit up? Didn't Donald Trump have that ceasefire with Russia and Ukraine and negotiating peace when there was a negotiation there? We have not ceased fire. We have not recalled the troops. They are still in full effect. So, does it sound like we got a gift that would encourage negotiation? Of course, it doesn't. Now, it sounds like some ships made it through the strait and didn't get blown up, but it definitely doesn't sound like the United States was rewarded or in any way, shape, or form benefited from Iran's decisions and gestures. Now, this contrast is the core of the fact check. Now, the narrative is one of respectful consension. The truth is one of calculated, self interested control during the low grade maritime war. Special shout out to Charles. He says America is a bully. That is the politically correct term. Because on a global scale, we do a lot more than bully people. If we don't get what we want, we blow them up. Yeah, I know we have a motto that we don't negotiate with terrorists, but we kind of give people two choices. Or three choices. You cooperate is choice number one. You don't cooperate and we stop letting you make money with us is choice number two. And when we can't use choice number three or choice number two, we then use choice number three. And choice number three is blow you up and take it from you. Afghanistan, Iraq, Egypt, Venezuela. If we can't get what we're looking for, we're going to take it. So you either sell it to us at a reasonable price or you give it to us. Now, Charles, you and I see your profile photo. You look like we both came up in the 80s. So when I tell you state property, you understand what I'm talking about. When your boy Bean said get down or lay down, that's exactly what Donald Trump is doing right now. Get down or lay down. You either gonna work with me or I'm gonna put you down. That's exactly what Donald Trump is doing. And America has always had that position. America has held that position with its own people. That if we don't sell it, it will be seized. It's just harder to take from another country. So we send troops to take it. But the troops got launched after Supreme Court stopped Donald Trump from using tariffs in a non-physical conflict to control other countries. That's when troops started being deployed. So before Donald Trump started sending American people to go blow shit up, Donald Trump was affecting people's pockets because we're billionaires. We fight with money. We don't fight with fists. But when the Supreme Court said, no, 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 you can't mess with the money like that. Now I was like, all right, well, I was trying to be civil about it. Let's go ahead and send some explosives over there. And now you're blowing up every fucking thing. We had somebody come and ask me, oh, well, what about the 30,000 protesters? What about them? If everything's being blown up over there, you better be standing in the right spot because if not, boom shakalaka. And and you know the thing that happens in America is that with politics, it's worded in national security interest in order for anti-war protesters to not flood the streets and protest the war. But you got to understand that the largest majority of our military was voluntarily enlisted for the GI Bill so that we could get college money. Then we got put into reserves. Those of us that are put into reserves are getting drafted before the rest of us get drafted. So men and women alike are being pulled to arms to send thousands upon thousands of people overseas because you've already registered to say, I want to be sacrificed for the sake of political greed. And that's exactly what they're doing right now. We're losing troops over there the same way they're losing civilians over there because Donald Trump wants oil. His exact words at the beginning of January: oil, oil, we're doing it for the oil. Yeah, we might free some people, but we're going to secure the oil first. You remember that discussion, right? They were trying to say, oh, national security, terrorists, drug cartel, no, 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 no. No, and then Donald Trump would jump right back in, the oil, and make sure you talk about the oil. He made it clear what he was after. The Strait controls 20% of oil. Venezuela has what, 18 to 20% of oil in itself. That's 40% of the world's oil between the Strait and Venezuela. Then Cuba. Come on, man. This is all about resources. Ukraine has precious minerals. It's all about resources. Egypt had precious minerals. It's all about resources. There is not one we almost got bombed, protect our country attack that has ever come from the United States under the control of Donald Trump. It just hasn't happened yet. It is about control of resources because if we control the resources, we control the profits. If we control the profits, we get paid more. It's a good business move. I don't knock it. but I'm going to call it for what I see. It's a business strategy to put more money in the pockets of the United States government, not necessarily the United States people, the United States government. Because with $30 trillion in debt, if we get more money coming in, we'll be in less debt. So to truly grasp the spin, you have to do the math here. Because where does the $1 billion figure come from? Right? The numbers are staggering, but they also reveal why this wasn't a gift to the United States. The workhorse of the oil trade is the VLCC, or very large crude carriers. These behemoths can carry about 2 million barrels of crude oil. The price of oil is volatile, but using a reference point of about $80 per barrel, the cargo on a single tanker is worth around $160 million. Charles said American owns every black citizen money. Hold on, y'all. I'm gonna set some cinnamon on that. Y'all marinate on what Charles just said. Special shout out to Charles. Charles, come over here. I'm gonna tell y'all. So I'm gonna go into a straw man topic on this. Special shout out to Cody Phillips. I'm gonna get to your comment next. My man said America owes every black citizen money for the evils of the past. They would rather make trouble. Satan comes to kill, steal, and destroy. Look, America don't owe us shit. I prefer to get reparations for what happens. America would likely owe the black people that the evils happened to, but most of them are dead. The individuals that were born before 1965 likely are the last generation of people that were directly impacted by the bad decisions of the United States government. The people that were born in the 80s are only negatively impacted by the bad decisions of their parents and their grandparents. The people that were born in the 90s and 2000s are only based on the bad decisions of themselves and their parents. The people that are 2025 right now that were born in 2000, they are the product of bad decisions, not government influence. Okay, segregation is long since gone. But don't get me wrong. I wanted that million, $1.3 million from Camilla Harris going into office because I know somebody that was 1956, and if he would have got paid, I would have got paid from him. So I was on the reparations. I was like, fuck yes, give us $1 million. I'll flip that shit. We ended up with Trump though. So Michael said Cuba has no oil. The country is in the blackouts. No oil is reaching Cuba. I know Cuba got no oil because Donald Trump sanctioned everybody who sends Cuba oil. I just covered Cuba last Tuesday. Oh man, topic is communist, aka capitalism. No. Topic is what's truthfully happening with what's going on with the war and how that's going to negatively impact our money. That's what the topic is. But I appreciate you jumping in. Um, is that I don't want to sound racist. You need to talk to West Africans about who did what. Well, that's not racist because you and I both know that back in the colonial days that Africans had slaves that were conquered tribes after conflictual wars happened. Anybody who lost and survived was taken as hostages and used as slaves for the victor the tribe, and any of those were sold off to the colonists, is what we're going to call them, who then sold them off all over the rest of the world. Brazil is part of the slave trade. China's part of the slave trade. The nickname that we use to address racism is from the slave trade. I mean, The word originally was a translation for the word black, and then it started being used as a derogatory term. But at the end of the day, I, the people, Indian, Irish people, everybody who came from other countries, Britain, Ireland, everywhere, they sold themselves into slavery to pay off debts. So, I mean, the whole history of this country is based off of torture and chaos. So it's really a true to life. There's no positive history in this world, right? But we learn from negative history and we start trying to work together. Yeah, it was very horrible. Everybody's guilty. Nobody has ever not done something wrong in the history of the world. Okay, there's no one innocent culture, right? But right now today we're dealing with people that are overthrowing each other because of control of resources. It's a financial trade. Mr. Guider asked twice, "Are you happy?" I'm not disappointed. So to help you, to special shout out to him. I see his comment up there twice. I'm not disappointed. I see Alex, but I'm not paying you any attention, buddy, because that is not related to today's topic. Now, we just did some calculations. Hold on. And before I go further, resources are killing humanity and Jesus, we need to do better. Resources ain't doing nothing to Jesus. Jesus supposedly died on the cross, came back to life, and said, "Fuck this shit, I'm out." 3 days thinking about what he went through and was like, "Nah, that's all right. Y'all can have it." And ain't come back yet. They swear to God in every religion that he's gonna come back on the second coming. The second coming meaning he coming back. He ain't coming back. The only thing that's gonna compel him to come back is either extreme change or catastrophic failure. We haven't reached either endpoint. We still don't treat each other the way we should treat each other, as identified in Corinthians 1 through 31. We still don't respect ourselves. We still don't respect each other, as you see in the Quran and other biblical topics. We're so focused on what other people have, we don't pay attention to what we don't need, and then we're always keeping up with the Joneses, wasting our money on trying to look rich for other people to be impressed by us for external validation, instead of us staying to ourselves and paying attention to our own stuff and satisfying ourselves with our own efforts. Cody said, "Wait for me." Now I'm gonna double back over here to this oil discussion. Now we said that the ships usually run $160 million worth of oil in it. Now multiply that by Donald Trump's claim. At a low end of about 10 tankers, the oil value is about 10 times $160 million, which equals $1.6 billion. At the high end of 20 tankers, that value shoots up to about $3.2 billion. And that's just the cargo. The ships themselves are worth a fortune. So a new VLCC can cost over $130 million. So yes, the value is in the billions, the millions, like Dr. Evil, right? But this is the crucial question: who receives this value? Because the claim of the president to the United States implies America benefited from the oil. I did some fucking digging to see which port did billions of dollars of ships dock at. Was it New York? Was it Brooklyn? Where did it stop at? Right? But the United States didn't get one ship of oil. The tankers weren't rerouted to American ports. The gift was simply Iran letting these tankers proceed to their original destinations without being blown to fucking smithereens. That's what happened. My guy said, by my calculations, Donald had 50 billion in investments from UAE and Middle East. It's all the Bush administration all over again. Make sure y'all like and subscribe and hit those reaction buttons as we watch tonight's show. Look, this man is a multi-billionaire. I don't think that he has $50 billion of his money invested anywhere because he has a net value of about 4 billion or $5 billion right now. But if he did set up a $50 billion investment portfolio in the UAE using other people's money where he would benefit from the proceeds of that portfolio, it is quite possible that he did set something like that up the same way Elon Musk has set up like a $5 or $7 billion scenario with all of his constituents on Twitter X. And he's got like $5 billion himself, but he used like $5 or $7 billion of other people's money. Y'all know that 2.5 million or 3 million person wait list for the Cybertruck was everybody putting up $100 for that truck. If you had 2.5 million people putting up $100 for the Cybertruck, that was $250 million that was donated to Elon Musk in good faith in order for him to flip that for 2.5 billion dollars in order for him to build that gigatech factory in Texas where the Cybertruck come out like trash. The damn Ford Electric is functioning better than the damn Cybertruck. I'm just like, he said it's his son-in-law, David Ketcherman. So Donald Trump almost ready to die. So if he set that up for the next generation where his daughter and his grandchildren can benefit from it, then yeah, he would set something up. He's oh God, Elon, that's an entire universe on its own. Look, bro, I follow everything, or well, not everything. I follow most things. I follow most of the stuff that directly impacts your ability to make, save, and invest money. So this isn't a political platform. This isn't a red pill, blue pill, black pill podcast. I specifically talk about how you can self improve by making better decisions, how you can change the way you think about life, and how you put your money in places based on the way shit's happening in the economy, based on the way world trade is happening. Your ability to directly impact your own first person accountability and responsibility based on the world knowledge helps you be a better you. So yeah, geopolitically, I'm definitely informed. And I try to because this is common knowledge because at any point in time, like some of this stuff, you guys can grab your search engine and go and ask the Google lady, and you can find out a lot of the stuff that I'm telling y'all about. And y'all be like, damn, like you this show is fact checked every day. I got Michael in the background right now. Michael will definitely tell you if I'm wrong. And the only thing I've been wrong about is what year Old Spice came out and who it came out for. But outside of that, and Steven's age, that's like the only two things I got wrong out of the entire show for the last 3 years. So I guess Steven to be 21, he was 36. But outside of that, Google will lie to you because CIA is rewriting history. Yeah, I don't use Google. The search engines that I use come out of China, so I don't use Google. So I get detailed information, but I mean you can Google some of the stuff that's why I said some. I didn't say everything. I said you can Google some of the stuff that I'm telling you about. And you be like, oh shit, there's that. But then when you look at the detailed information, I was like, where the fuck you get that information from? But it is true information. Everything I have is fact checked and curated to make sure that I'm only bringing you guys the facts. So one thing I'm not going to do is provide you with late breaking news that just happened 20 minutes ago because I got to verify the facts before I talk to you guys about it. Michael said not here. But when I do bring it to you, I'm bringing to you all the details, all the behind the scene discussions, all the reports, all of the public records that are related to it so that when I cover the topic, I'm giving you guys deliberate straight facts. And it's a neutral position. I'm not a left wing, I'm not a right wing. I think that Donald Trump is making a lot of financial decisions that'll benefit us over the next 20 years, but it's not going to benefit the bottom 50%, and the bottom 25% of incomes are going to suffer from every decision he makes over the next 2 years. But but at the same time, I tell you, hey, if you make less than 75,000 a year, vote Democrat. If you make more than $150,000 a year, vote Republican. If you're in between 75 and $100,000 a year, roll the dice. But don't be on food stamps and vote Republican, and don't be making $250,000 a year and voting Democrat because it's not going to benefit you. Michael said, that's the facts. Also, man, legit talks. Thank you. Hey, yeah, and I'm here every night of the week. I typically give you guys 1 to 2 hours, sometimes 4 to 6 hours every night of the week. I never take a day off. I'm here on the holidays, the weekends. As long as I got power and internet, I go live every night of the week, and I'm bringing you guys different information that helps you improve your personal life, help you improve your business life. But on Monday, we talk about how politics negatively impacts your ability to make, save, and invest money. Tuesday is going to be how to invest, save, build money, start up businesses, everything to that effect. Wednesdays, different countries around the world to invest. Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, how to change your decision making skills, relationship topics, self improvement, self development, all that stuff. Socialization. And a couple of either this weekend or next weekend, we're going to be talking about negotiating promotions. We talked about negotiating raises. We're going to be talking about retirement packages, severance packages. We talk about all kinds of stuff on the show to help you build a better you. Because if there's anything in your life that you can control that you don't like, you should be able to proactively change that so that you can then navigate around the things that you can't control. And in order for you to know what you got to navigate around, we got to talk about stuff that you can't control, which is politics. Politics is something you can't control. There's 501, 502 people out the entire 380 something million people in America that controls the entire United States decision. King Trump. And the rest of us just go along with the flow. But if we see bullshit about to go down, we have the capabilities to make financial decisions that benefit us in line with what's about to go down. So if you know oil prices is about to go up and you start investing in oil, you start buying gas in bulk so that when the prices go up, you're not going to be impacted as frequently. Get you some 20 and 30-gallon gas cans and put them in a place that's not going to explode with the heat coming this summer and store you some oil at your house. Now you ain't got to spend that money at the gas pump. Another trick to the trade: gas prices are low overnight in comparison to in a day. Some people who are experienced drivers know this, but not everybody knows this. So instead of going to the gas pump in the middle of the day, go to the gas pump in the middle of the night. You'll find that the exact same gas pump goes down quite a few pennies, like 25 to 50 cents. Some places it goes down at night when it's less usage, right? And then because the weather is lower or the temperature is lower, the fuel is thicker. So instead of you getting fumes dumped into your gas tank during the day where you feel like, oh, they're watering down the gas pump. No, the pressure from the heat is separating the fuel and you're getting less gas and more air because of the pressure from the heat. If you go when it's cold outside, when it's cool, 60, 70 degrees, 50, 40 degrees, go get you some gas in the middle of the night, fill your gas tank in the middle of the night. The gas is going to be thicker because it's colder. So now you're getting actually what the fuck you paid for in your gas tank, and you find that your car is going to go a whole lot further because it's full of less air and more actual fuel. So all of this is tips to the trade. I give you guys tips and tricks that people don't think about. Buy the dips is all the administration knows. And that's what I'm telling you. That's what I'm teaching you guys. You got to think like billionaires. I told you guys like an hour ago, real estate investment trusts are at like 21 and 22% right now because a lot of people aren't paying rent because some of the people are TSA and some of them just went to war. So a lot of people aren't paying rent. Real estate investment shares have gone down, but the dividends are still being paid. You can get a prospect capital at $2.50 a share at like 21% return. Ellington Real Estate Investment Trust is like $4.55 a share. That's like a pack of cigarettes is like 3 shares with 21, 22% return, bro. A case of beer, a case of beer is like 5 shares. Like you can really start really changing the way you make decisions these days so that you don't have to worry about why you're broke. You're broke because you are making bad financial decisions in 25. In 26, you come to this show and start making better decisions. In 27, you got extra money in your pocket. By 2037, you should be able to retire. By 2047, you should be able to retire twice. By 2057, you should be able to live in 2 countries at the same damn time and enjoy life without having to work. And your kids should be set up too. Your grandkids should be set up too if you're making better financial decisions. This is the season of upheaval. This is the generation of extreme and catastrophic change. And because it's the extreme catastrophic change, billionaires will lose money when the stock market crashes. Poor people will get money when the stock market crashes because they bought in when the stock market is good. We're going to buy in when the stock market sucks. So when the stock market goes back to being good, who gets paid? Everybody who bought in when the shit was cheap. This is the year to buy in. This is the year to buy in. He says, cover your drinks around right wingers, ladies. Please remember who they are. Okay. So Ashley had to come in here and make it seem like somebody. Look, I'm gonna put it back up here real quick. Well, no, special shout out to Charles. He said you are right every night of the week, bruh. Every night of the week. But this lady come through talking about some cover your drinks around right wingers. First and foremost, before I get back on the main topic today, because we're gonna continue. I drafted a whole script about this. We got like 30 more pages of information I'm gonna cover, but I want to talk about this nonsense real quick. First and foremost, ladies, you've got it does they don't even have a political position. People who put stuff in your drinks just make bad decisions and they try to benefit off of your bad decisions. So ladies, if y'all made better decisions, you wouldn't have to worry about that. Second of all, a lot of y'all got a man at home and y'all going out with y'all homegirl to go get saucy, and y'all gonna go out with y'all homegirl and hook up with other dudes, or watch your homegirls hook up with other dudes. You left unattended this other dude trying to slip something in your drink because you're not interested. If you listen to your man when he told you don't put that outfit on and stay your ass at home, you would not have had nobody slip nothing in your drink. If you was out there going places that non-single people go, you would not have single people trying to slip stuff in your drink because you ain't never seen a roofie pop up at a fucking Olive Garden. You ain't, you ain't never seen a roofie pop up at a fucking Denny's. Shit, you ain't never seen a roofie pop up at a damn Red Lobster. But name five of the most famous nightclubs in your neighborhood, and some people got carried out of there drunk that wasn't supposed to be carried out of there because they wasn't drunk. You got people that never made it home because they weren't supposed to be out there in the first place. You females are supposed to be able to make responsible decisions. The same way you're supposed to make a responsible decision to choose your man, you're supposed to make a responsible decision to not go places and touch stuff that is not yours. So if you didn't make the drink, don't drink it. If you didn't open the bottle yourself, don't drink it. If you did not pay for it with your own money, don't drink it. Nah, think about that. Matter of fact, stay your ass at home. It's cheaper because why are you paying $10 a glass at the club when you can buy it $20 a bottle at your house, and the 10 of y'all can party in the living room with some damn karaoke stuff in the living room? I don't understand. She gonna say, "Oh, lucky you," and men can't control themselves. A 304 is the reason why a man doesn't have to control himself because of you out there for the streets, Miss Ma'am. So if you out there throwing it back for the men in the background, they're gonna get out there and be animalistic because you're encouraging that. So if you make appropriate decisions, you not out there in the street throwing it back. You at the house. Then I just finished telling y'all, instead of wasting your money on financial inappropriate decisions, you put your money in places where your money is making money for you, and then you don't have to be in those situations. Because instead of spending money on a nightclub, spending money on the parking, spending money on cover, spending money on drinks, you take all the money that you spent, $200, $300 for one night out, put that into a brokerage account. Now you're not broke. If you spend $300 a month, that's $3,000 a year for ten months, right? $3,600 a year if you spend $300 a month going to the club, right? Now, if you're going to the club more often than that, like Charles said, use common sense. You're not going to be going through all of that. You're gonna be dumping a bunch of money into living a bad lifestyle, and that's your bad decisions that's negatively impacting you. Skirt so short that your behind is hanging out, top so low that your titties hanging out, the stomach exposed. It's 40 degrees outside. You dressing like it's summer. You dressing like a girl's gone wild, OnlyFans girl, and then you swearing up now, oh, it's the men. It's not the men. You're attracting negative attention with your negative behavior. That's the reason why you're going through what you're going through. It's not because all men are bad, because not all men are bad. The same way not all cops are bad, but it takes a select five people to do something fucked up to make the whole damn group look bad. So it is your bad decisions that causes problems with your life because you are the common denominator in every time you've had a bad experience in your life, whether a man was involved or not. And if you don't change your decisions, you're forever going to be experiencing shitty lifestyle. That ain't got nothing to do with the full population of men because men don't deal with that. That All right, I'm gonna entertain a handful of these, and then I'm gonna go back to the main damn topic because she out here wilding real quick. She's on probation, y'all. He said they had to shut down the NASCAR circuit because the infamous singles. Look, but wasn't NASCAR supposed to be damn box wine and hot sun and cars making left turns for 4 hours? Wasn't that what NASCAR was supposed to be about? Wasn't Disney World supposed to be about the children? Now you got topless women and liquor being sold all over Disney World. But see, if something bad happens to a woman at Disney World, oh, it's the man's fault. It ain't the man's fault. You was at Disney World topless drinking booze with your child. What you single mom at Disney World with no top on and alcohol in your system and you the designated driver for your 4 year old and over here being babysat by Mickey Mouse because you drunk can't stand up. Refill. He said, what if it was your daughter that was attacked for no reason? Well, first and foremost, my daughter not out there. My daughter not going to be out there because I am going to teach my children how to be responsible, both the boys and the girls, so that they're not out there with that bullshit. You start teaching them at 5, 6, 7, 8 financial responsibility. You start teaching them 10, 15, 20 years old where to put their money somewhere else where other people are not going to cause them to negatively experience bad decisions. Because your responsibility, first person accountability, man, is how you make decisions and how your decisions impact the people around you. Then your first person accountability is the decisions of the dumb motherfuckers around you where their decisions will negatively impact you. You're going to stay somewhere where somebody else can do a line of cocaine, overdose, and die. You're not going to stop them. You're not going to help them. You're not going to call 911. You contributed to their death. That is why it is accessory to the crime, negligence to perform. When you seen somebody pull the baggie out of that bag, it's time for me to go home because whatever's going to happen after this, I don't want to be here. Right. So this is one of the reasons why I tell you that you got to tighten up. So when you come through with the negative behavior, that's why I'm like, there's no way. Why are you blaming men because women make bad choices? The same way women were not sleeping with their men because abortion laws got banned, right? But you understand that Donald Trump got voted into office because of more than 70% of America. You also understand that about 49 or 50% of America is men. 49.1% of men is America. So 50% or 50.1% of the population is women. For America to have had about 70% of its voters vote, the majority of the LGBTQ voted for Donald Trump, and at least 25% of women voted for Donald Trump, if not more than that. Because if any percentage of men voted for Kamala Harris, that means a larger percentage of women voted for Donald Trump, and you're hating on men because of the decisions of other women. I don't understand what you're doing. I don't understand what you're doing. Is it why are you blaming the world for what happened to your daughter? Thank you. Thank you. What the hell that got to do with us? Because we sitting over here talking about oil in Iran. This chick that came out of nowhere talking about what happened to her daughter. Who to trust? No one, not even your past self. Special out to Cody, bro. These females be coming out the woodwork, bro. They, I don't. Some people love to troll, and I try my best to be a little bit patient with some of them because sometimes they'll start off trolling and then they'll realize that this is an educational platform. This podcast is tagged on Wikipedia 3 different times for knowledge, business, and society. This podcast is about learning something about yourself, self improvement, self development, and this is not a red pill, blue pill, black pill podcast. I come from uniformity. If I talk to you about how it's fucked up when women do it, I'm gonna talk to you about how it's fucked up when men do it. If it's right when she do it, it should be right when he do it. If it's wrong when he do it, it should be wrong when she do it. And if it don't make sense, that's what I do every day is make it make sense. That's why we're doing this topic about busting the myth of Donald Trump getting a gift of oil from somewhere in the middle of the Middle East. Either they're not trolls, they're mad and have no one to blame. You're right. Myron probably got off the air between Myron going off the air and whatever podcast going off the air. I'm still on the air, and they decided to come tiptoe over here and come see what the fuck I was doing. You can come over here. This is a male driven podcast from the male's perspective. And when I cover topics like when I covered last Thursday, what makes a valuable woman, I spent 2 or 3 hours talking about how important women are and how valuable they could be and what they should be doing to maintain their value. No women came on the show that day, but we're sitting over here talking about money, stock options, different countries, world trade, oil, and here this chick comes talking about some fucking. What about? This is why women shouldn't vote. I'm sorry, ladies. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. No, I'm not sorry. I'm not sorry. I take that back. I'm not sorry at all. I stand by that. It is true to life. You should not be allowed to make decisions if you're not able to make sound decisions for yourself. I'm not. You're right. Not anymore. I blocked her. They come through with the bullshit. Once I realized they about that chaos, I'm like, nope, nope. I'm not doing chaos. So back to our main topic because I know y'all slid through here. Mash those reaction buttons while y'all here so that more people can see what we got going on. Uh, we were talking about the oil, so let's get back to the main topic because this oil situation it wasn't a personal gift from one leader to the other. Oil tankers are sovereign or corporate assets, so they're sovereign or corporate assets, meaning this is business, not political, right? It's not a personal property situation. So thinking Iran would gift billions of dollars in commerce to the United States is like thinking that the United States government would gift an aircraft carrier to China as a sign of respect. I'm gonna say that again. Thinking that Iran would gift the United States billions of dollars of commerce is like assuming likewise the United States would gift an aircraft carrier to China as a sign of respect. When you think about that, that shit is never going to happen because the very structure of how a nation and economies functions makes the claim as presented nonsensical. The numbers are huge, but the beneficiary wasn't the states. He said, was it a Russian roulette for petroleum support? Oh, petrodollar. Um, no, actually, it wasn't. But so what happened was the there was political disarray earlier in February where they were talking about shutting it down. And this is when Donald Trump was strangling Iran financially with tariffs that the Supreme Court put a stop to. Then, when the United States could not use money to control the negotiations, the United States started threatening physical assault. Iran starts threatening to close down the strait. The United States starts sending troops. Before the troops got there, Iran started blowing shit up. Nobody wanted to go because they didn't want to lose their ships. People stopped coming. Iran starts showing support to allies like China. China and Japan have contracts with the United States. Japan, China, United States, we not beefing. This is like uh China is on the sidelines watching Iran and the United States play chess while China can talk to Iran. China's still making money with the United States. China's going to see who comes out on top between the United States and Iran. China is not helping Iran, but China is not helping the United States either. The United States is doing this by itself. So it's not really a Russian roulette scenario for the petrodollars. It is more of a control of power because the strait is being controlled to force a political uprising against the United States powers in the world trade. Donald Trump taking over Venezuela, Donald Trump taking over Cuba, then Donald Trump destroying Iran until Iran has no troops left to defend the strait, allows Donald Trump to cover the strait. And when Donald Trump covers the strait, he covers 40% of oil because if Venezuela's got 18% and the strait allows 20% to pass through it, that's 40% of the world's oil plus what the United States, Alaska, and Canada's got that is in direct access of the United States. The United States starts controlling how much the oil costs and how much the money the America gets paid off of providing protection to the strait for oil to pass through safely. It is exactly that. It's a proxy oil war. It is exactly that. And this is one of the things that we talked about before. We have not been directly attacked on American soil legitimately since the first war. They're going to say, oh, what about 9/11? All right, conspiracy theory time. How can the United States find a man in the mountains in another country, but they can't find two planes on American airspace? Now, think about what they blew up, though, because they didn't blow up the Pentagon, they didn't blow up the White House. They blew up two buildings, the two tallest buildings in the United States, that was solely filled with historical records of ownership of assets and resources. That's what got destroyed. Two record centers. That's what got destroyed. Not schools, not hospitals, not the houses of political powers, just two buildings that held all the historical records, legacy lineage of ownership of properties and assets. So anybody who didn't have another copy of what was in that trade center means that gold, silver, land no longer had ownership, could be seized. Special shout out by Daniel, by the United States, because nobody knew that it existed, that they owned it, that nobody claims it. The United States can claim it. Who was really responsible for that? And then Cody says 9/11 was a reason for all of this. Ignorant Americans wanting justice, and it all ends up insider trading. But it wasn't just insider trading, because when they went to Iraq and Iran, what the fuck they came back with? They didn't come back with new stock options. Yes, it was an insider trading gig. They came back with fucking oil, though. All of the national security, we were so under attack in America for 9/11, and they went over there and came back with a shit ton of oil. Did you feel safer with all the oil they brought back with Iraq and Iran? I don't think you did. I know a lot of people were fucking pissed off because their Amazon package didn't make it to their house and they didn't pay for the insurance on it, but nobody felt safer when they came back with damn oil from Iraq and Iran. Nobody. Is that War of 1812, England invaded Washington, D.C., and burnt the White House. Now, that is a true attack. But that's 1812. I'm thinking like 1951 was the Civil War, was the last time we had battle on American soil, but 1942 probably was the last one. Or when they attacked Pearl Harbor, that was the last time that look. Charles said, "Nope, I ain't feel safe when it came back with that oil." The attack on Pearl Harbor, that was the last time we got attacked. So in the last 30 years, we have not been hit directly by any other foreign country. The closest thing we had was the threat of a drone strike over California, where everybody's still naked on the beach right now today. Not one person recalled anybody's child from being blown up by a bomb because they're not over here. They're so busy trying to keep themselves from being blown up in Iran. We bring fights to them. They don't bring fights to us. We're not on the offensive. We throw the first punch, the second five punches, shoot up a few people, throw a fifth punch, and then other people start trying to defend. Don't nobody come over here and try to sneak us. Not one New York port has reinforced its port. Not Louisiana hasn't reinforced its borders. You have not seen any waterways near the United States reinforce any of its docks, any of its landing space. Nowhere in Florida do you have extra troops near the edge of MacDill Air Force Base or anything to that effect. We got not one missile came this way. Not one long range missile came this way. But they're being blown to shit. Cody said 1974, America backed out of gold standard and signed up for UAE petrodollar. We are stuck fighting terrorists for oil. We're not fighting. Who is the real terrorist, though? Who's the real terrorist, though? Think about it now. We call them terrorists because we don't like their policies over there. We call them terrorists because we don't understand the true model of communists. We assume that communist means terrorist. The communist model means sharing the resources regardless of how much work you did. That is what the communist model. The communist model is the democratic platform. No matter how much poor people work or don't work, they're going to get stuff from the government. That's the communist model. We're not terrorists to each other in the United States. I mean, we are with racism, but I mean, truth be told, we're not fighting against terrorists. We're fighting against a difference of opinion over oil. That's what we're fighting against. And yes, Charles is right. We're bullying other people as a difference of opinion. This is almost like if you look at an anime or a war story or whatever the case may be on TV. When you look at it from both sides of the fence, neither party is really wrong. It's the bad guy is the group that is not favored by the fans that's watching. That's the bad guy. But the backstory of the guy on the left is different from the backstory from the guy on the right. And depending on which side of the fence you lean on, you're literally the difference between who's right and who's wrong is who's being negatively impacted. From the person of the from the first person victim mentality, I'm being negatively impacted. The other guy's a terrorist. But if I'm the one doing the attacking, the other person feels victimized. Now I'm the terrorist. Terrorist. So at the end of the day, we're not fighting against terrorists for oil. We're fighting against a difference of opinion and a control of resources and political power. He said, "We are the terrorists. Capitalism is our terrorism. Sell more medicine and get an army." Yes, that is exactly what we're looking at. That's exactly what we're looking at. He has dismantled the Department of Education. He has privatized Medicaid and Medicare. They have restructured the discount and rebate system for medication, which changes the list of prescription drugs. And he is pushing tariffs in certain countries for pharmaceuticals and providing leniency in other countries for pharmaceuticals so that we can get more pharmaceuticals in this country. Doctors get paid more money to promote these pharmaceuticals to their patients through free samples and then writing prescriptions. And then the patients take the good feeling they get from the medication and then they go to their nearest Walgreens or Walmart and fill that prescription. And then they start taking drugs that they not all the time need so that they can feel better about the shitty life they had. Because if you're happy, sad, sleepy, hungry, depressed, angry, pissed off, not pissed off, there's a fucking pill for it. And since your insurance is paying for it, a lot of people are like, fuck it, I could take these like Skittles. I'm not paying for it, but you are fucking 100, 200, $300 a month for health insurance. But remember back in the 80s when our parents used to tell us take a salt tablet and walk that shit off? How much medication did we used to take at 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 12 years old for the exact same shit that we're going through today? There's a pill for everything. ADHD, sit your bad ass down. Remember that? Remember that? Well, they didn't give us a drug for stop running in the damn classroom. Now there's a pill for that. Shouldn't be. Stop playing your cell phone. Stop scrolling on TikTok. Sit down, shut up, pay attention. You'll learn something. That's what they used to tell us. To sit down, shut up, pay attention. You'll learn something. ADHD or not, ain't no drug for dyslexia. Shit. He said I was alive in school for No Child Left Behind, aka the death of critical thinking. I was in that era as well, and I could tell you that at the end of the day, no child got. I experienced. I had a couple students that was in Spain that was part of that. No child got left behind. They were 16 years old, did not know how to multiply, did not know how to divide, did not know how to do systems of equations. They're in high school now. They don't know fifth grade math, but they were going from. I believe they were going from Spain to Switzerland, and I was like, whoa, how did they not teach that? They're like, yeah, nobody knows about this. When I showed them substitution with elimination, and they were like, how do you do that? I'm like, what? Y'all don't know how to do this? Man, I did mercy. I had a whole room full of kids like, come on, just come sit down. Let me teach y'all how to do this, young man. Because the generations don't know. But that's one of the reasons why this podcast became what it is because common knowledge has stopped becoming common because people are more interested in entertainment. People are more interested in chaos. People are more interested in causing disarray or observing disarray. People who are self deprecating themselves for views, likes, clicks. They devalue themselves so that other people can laugh at them so that they can get views, likes, clicks. And all of this, and sometimes they're just doing this for the money. And all of this leads people to be overwhelmed with information, but only focusing on things that allows them to turn their brain off and either laugh or vent their biased frustrations. But at no point in time does people go and look for a podcast that helps them learn how to improve themselves so that they don't hate themselves in the morning. Because after a 2 hour show with me, you done learn some shit. You start making some changes. You start doing some shit. Look at what happened with Steven. Steven bought new suits, got him better dress clothes, improving his education scenarios. I didn't give him the stuff about the what was it, scholarships. I'm gonna do it today. I told him I was gonna give him the stuff about the scholarships. I forgot about it last night. I'm gonna do it today. Between today and tomorrow, he's gonna have stuff in the membership about the scholarships. The This man is like, hey, how do I write an email for a scholarship? Y'all come to this podcast, y'all learn some shit, and then you make this a habit. 66 days of coming here, you done learn some shit. You done change the way you do life. This is the only podcast on social media because YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter. This is the only podcast that's doing this. Every other podcast is about bullshit. And like, oh yeah, you can have fun over here, and oh yeah, you can argue over here, but nowhere can you fix yourself. Cody said, yeah, you grow a pair and you own it. Now it's the action. Go get therapy and teach your therapist. I'll tell you, American number one problem is outsourcing everything. So we needed to be self-sufficient in America, all America, right? Not just the states. But you're right. Our ability to be self-sufficient has been lost. Female independence is, women think that men like women independent. We don't like women independent. We like women self-sufficient. We like you to be able to hold the shit down while we're busy doing something else. But when we come back, our role is to do this for you so that you don't have to, not because you can't. However, adult self-sufficiency, you're not supposed to be reliant on everybody and everything else, but that's where our technology comes from, is to replace our ability to be responsible for ourselves. Instead of being able to rely on ourselves or rely on our partners for financial decisions, we rely on AI, we rely on accountants, we rely on brokers. Instead of us being able to rely on ourselves to build. Look, Ford used to be American built, American made. Now it is American assembled. It is built overseas. Ford, Dodge, and Chevy has foreign parts in it. EcoBoost technology is from China, not from America. That's why Dodge Charger, the Hellcat, the Challengers are gas guzzlers, because it is built in America. But all of the EcoBoost stuff, all of the fuel efficient stuff comes from overseas. So when the tariffs hit, raise the prices on car parts, all the cars are an extra $10,000 to $15,000 in 2025 and in 2026. So in order for you to get a reasonably priced car, it has to be from 2024 or before that, because everything comes from overseas. Oh, we talk about the sweatshops, but I can tell you what, I can buy some shit from China right now and get it here in 2 weeks, and it be way cheaper than I can get it from Walmart down the street. And it be better quality than Nordstrom's. Might as well outsource. Is it 100% respect, man? You're not cringe baiting and talking the truth. We need this open dialogue. This is what I do. Direct interaction until the comments start outdoing my pace. I got y'all, man. I have direct that I have no reason to cringe because my life is successful. I'm living on 30% of my income. All the bills is paid for next month, this month. I'm working on paying May's bills in March. I don't need for shit. I put money in the stock market. I put money where I need to put it at. I make big money decisions so that I don't have to worry about next week or next month. I don't have to worry about if the government shuts down. When everybody started panicking because of the tariff situation, I was like, buy and hold, because what's going to happen in the next 48 hours? It'll bounce back. Everybody else is freaking out. Oh, my money is riding on this. My rent money's riding on this. Bro, I don't give a fuck what they got going on. If you can wait 48 hours, you're going to see a difference. I told him what the swing was. Y'all been watching stocks going across the top of the screen all damn night. I didn't pay attention to the stock market, y'all. Y'all been watching stocks going across the screen all damn night. And them stocks ain't going across the screen as decorations. I found those stocks. I curated those stocks. I did research on those stocks. Those are undervalued stocks. There's about 54 of them, and I got them in the mess of the membership. There's about 54 of them, and half of them are dividend paying stocks. You can build you an entire portfolio based off of those stocks where you're getting paid money every month to put money up somewhere where you're making more money back than what you would have made from a bank account. What you would have made from everybody else's portfolios that's doing 10%. I'm doing 20%, 21%, 18%. Lowest average is like 17.5% between growth stocks and cash stocks, and everybody else is dancing around 10%. After taxes, 3%, inflation 4%, that 10% brings you down to 4%. But with 21 or 22%, after you take 7% off, you're still at 16%. Here's an investment tip, buddy. If you that's legit. I just told y'all earlier, Prospect Capital and Ellington Real Capital, Ellington Real Estate Investment Trust, Orchid Island. What was the other one? AGNC, um, Armor Residential, Armor Realty. I got them going across the top of the screen. I'm not bullshitting with you. I'm not bullshitting with you. AG Mortgage, Two Harbors. I pulled these stocks, bro, to 20%, and that's legit. You go look them up right now. You go Google them motherfuckers. They're some of them are doing 20 and 21%. Real estate investment trusts are doing 20 and 21%. BDCs are doing 15 to 18% right now. I'm not bullshitting. I've been watching the stock market, right? And take this under consideration because people that's going to college right now could be borrowing against the student loans that's hitting them at 4 to 7% interest for a student loan, and then putting it into a stock market because they don't need it for their school, put it into the stock market, defer payment till they graduate from college, the stock market putting back 20%, they owe the school 7%, they're making what? 13% profit off of the school money. So when you do start paying 6 months after you graduate, you take the brokerage account that you built with your student loan money and pay back your student loans. You don't got to pay back your student loans. Your brokerage account pay back your student loans. And until they change the tax laws, when you take the money out your brokerage account and put it on your student loans, that's a tax deduction. Then, if you're a parent, you got your kid in public school, you take the money, donate it to your public school, get a voucher for it, you claim that on your taxes. The public school is a government funded nonprofit organization. You will get a tax deduction for that. Improve your child's education, improve your child's reputation with the school. The teacher go treat your kid better because you're the only parent that's paying the teacher's salary, or one of very few parents that's paying a teacher's salary, and you're getting it as a tax write-off. So since we don't have a Department of Education providing the funds to the Small Business Administration is providing the budget to the schools now. The Department of Education is gone. So if you want public school to function better than private school, you should take your paycheck and put it on a public school and get a voucher from the school and give it to your tax man so that they can give you a rebate back on your damn taxes. You still not paying for the shit, but you guaranteeing that the damn school gonna get it. So instead of Donald Trump using it to send more warships to Iran, you give it directly to the fucking school and have the government give you your fucking money back. Now here we go. In an hour and a half, I just gave some of y'all that just got here for the first time in a long time 2 or 3 different financial situations where you can improve yourself, improve your lifestyle, improve your kids' lifestyle, and not lose a fucking dollar. Not too many people talk about shit like this. Not too many people talk about this. This is what I tell y'all. This is the only podcast that's doing this. And this is legit. This is legit. Y'all can Google it and be like, damn, he ain't even bullshit. He ain't even bullshit. Now, back to fact checking what's going on right now, because to understand why letting these tankers pass, the tankers that we've been talking about all afternoon, isn't a gift to the United States, you need to understand the geography of the Strait of Hormuz. It is, without exaggeration, the single most important checkpoint for the global economy. Picture a single hallway that 20% of the building's foot traffic has to pass through. That's the Strait of Hormuz. Every day, about 21 million barrels of oil flows through this narrow strip of water. That's about 21% of all the oil consumed on the planet. A huge chunk of the world's liquefied natural gas, LNG, also makes that same trip. The global economy runs on this energy. And this is before we start talking about the hydroponic fuels that we were talking about, the green energies that are starting being created in some of the other countries, because we covered that too. But here's going to be the most important detail for our fact check. Where is all the oil going? Political rhetoric might make you think it's all headed for America gas tanks. That's just not true. In recent years, over 80% of crude oil moving through the strait was destined for Asia. The biggest customers are China, India, Japan, and South Korea. We benefit from them because everything you touch in your house is made in China, India, Japan, and South Korea. So if they're getting the stuff, the imports from those countries is going to be way fucking cheaper than it would be if they weren't getting it. But unfortunately, yeah, I know. I had to ban that person. I had to ban them twice. They was able to slip that comment in there twice, bro. I had to ban their ass twice. I told. Didn't I tell you that to be coming in with the bullshit? But like I was saying, everything that we get shipped in from South Korea, China, Japan, India is going to have an increased cost to the product because of the increased cost of the fuel. So the increased cost to build the product is going to increase the cost of the product. Then the increased cost to ship the product to America, plus the increased cost for the tariffs at the American ports, will increase the cost for the American people. So China's not necessarily going to pay more money for it. America's going to pay more money for it because China's got to spend more money to get the oil from India. So we pay for it indirectly because if it's made in China using the oil from India, it's going to cost more for America. That's just one of the things that we talk about. He said, we don't need that oil at all. We need to be sufficient inside America. But Donald Trump then already opened up the oil straits going all the way back to Alaska. So all the pipelines are opened up. Texas and Louisiana is back to mining and stuff to that effect. We conquered Venezuela. We're getting paid from Venezuela to sell oil on behalf of Venezuela. We're doing our own thing. We don't need oil from anywhere else because rumor has it we have over 100 years worth of oil right under our feet. We don't need to get oil from anywhere else. We became codependent through the Democratic parties and peace negotiations to rely on places like Canada and other such places to get oil from. And then when we stopped agreeing with Canada, people in North America started paying extra money for their utilities. What was it, Minnesota, New York, and other places that's getting electricity directly from Canada? Canada started taxing them 25%. Now American people's light bill went up 25% because we don't depend on ourselves. We depend on other people. It's crazy. He said he signed up for the war when he backed out of Iran deal in 2018. You already know that he was prepared for this. He said it in the discussion when he was talking about that Sharpie pen. I haven't even gotten to the fucking Sharpie pen discussion. He said that I was putting this in place back in 2017. The last time I was in office, I did X, Y, and Z, and now look at what I'm doing now. Yeah, he was waiting on this. He was waiting on this. Now we're gonna touch on this one time. He says, "Why do you have shades on, sir? Because they're prescription. That's why I have them on." And he said, "Why do I feel like I'm in a time warp? That is because you're probably doing drugs, and I recommend that you stop because you shouldn't be in a time warp." Now, their economies are existentially dependent on the energy flow that is coming from the Strait of Hormuz. Meanwhile, the United States imports a relatively small and declining amount of oil from the Persian Gulf. So let's connect this back to the claim. Letting 10 or 20 tankers pass its a gift to the United States. The primary beneficiaries are the Asian countries whose refineries are waiting for that crude oil. So, sure, the United States benefits indirectly from the stable global oil market and lower prices, but the direct impact is felt in Beijing and Tokyo, not Washington, D.C. This is why Iran's power lies in its ability to threaten individuals that are too close to the strait, not open it up for free. They're going to charge everybody. So by disrupting the traffic, they can cause oil prices to spike overnight. And their leverage comes from holding the world's energy supply hostage, not from handing it out for free as a favor to an adversary. Because Japan, we own them. We don't own shit. You know how many? Who owns the $30 trillion of bonds in American debt? Most of that is owned by China. So do we own them, or on paper do they own us? They don't got to conquer us. They can call in the loan. He said, but we need Japan to hold that line for us. But they're not holding the line. NATO did not respond to Donald Trump's call. Donald Trump called everybody in NATO to put boots on the ground, to put ships in the water, and put planes in the air. Britain said you can use our airfield. Spain said fuck off, and nobody else took a stand. Japan, why you didn't warn us we were going to attack Iran? Why you didn't warn us about fucking Pearl Harbor? So we don't need them. We benefit and save money from when they do stuff, but we don't need them. We want them. But when they don't cooperate with us, fuck them. That's exactly what Donald Trump said in the press conference 4 days ago. That's how it works. And it's honest to God, I've been preaching this particular type of mentality for the masculine man out here with these feminist model women that are out here teaching men how to be simps. It's like, bro, you stand on your principles. If they don't agree with you, fuck them. They don't need you. Let them do their own thing. But if they want to benefit from your resources, they need to follow your instructions. And if they don't follow your instructions, you don't pay them a dime. At the end of the day, anybody that is living off of your resources is your dependent, and nobody will have their child talk back to them. So no man should have a woman talk back to him. If she don't want to follow instructions, she don't want his money, she don't want his car, she don't want his house. Because if she wanted his shit, she would do what he say. Because you can go to the Philippines and get three women at $750 a person to do what an American woman won't do, and the women in the Philippines will give you 15 years for that shit. 15 years, $750 a month per woman. Three women, that's like $2,200 a month. Now, you think about an American girlfriend, you be like, oh, fuck, I know some girls that hair, nails, everything did might cost about $2,200 for one woman to tell you what the fuck she's not going to do. But you can go to the Philippines and get a yes daddy from three women for the same price. Hold on now. This is why I tell y'all be fiscally responsible about your shit. So when it comes down to Japan, no, we don't need them to do anything for us, and we don't own them at all. They are free to tell us to kick rocks. They are free to launch ships towards America. They are free to aid Iran in controlling the strait. They don't. We have a contract with them, a trade contract with them, at least for the next 12 months. We have a trade contract with China. We just did the TikTok deal with China and Beijing and Japan. We don't own shit. We got a fucking TikTok deal between Asia and America that's a multi-trillion-dollar profit for everybody to let's not fight each other. That's what we got. It's almost like getting a non-contract contract with your phone company to not pay full price for your phone as long as you maintain the contract for 24 months. That's what we got. We don't own shit. We're just not going to fuck with them, and they're not going to fuck with us, and we're all going to make money. It's the billionaire mindset. Did you notice that billionaires are billionaires because they will turn a profit with their worst enemy before they stay broke with their best friend? But broke mentality is that I'll stay loyal to my best friend and be broke before I make a dollar with my fucking enemy. Where is the fucking logic in that shit? Because I don't want to be broke. Fuck my friends. I don't want to be broke because my friends are going to come and ask me for fucking money because they can't afford to pay their bills. So if we don't got money, we're going to be struggling twice as hard to help each other survive. instead of us just fucking making money with our fucking enemies. Because one thing, Ashley up there talking about roofies and shit from the right wing, if you're gonna get paid from the guy, he's not gonna fucking put nothing in your fucking drink because he needs you sober to sign the fucking contract. So I mean, if you were making money on that fucking deal instead of sitting over there flaunting your assets, you probably would not have drank a drink you shouldn't have drunk. That's what I'm trying to tell you. Making better decisions about yourself. Because not one man out there trying to make money for him, has ever ended up in a fucking scandal. The only time people end up in scandals is when they were up to no good in the first fucking place. You can't get set up on bullshit. You can't get caught in that annual Disney World scandal in Pasco County with the trafficking of the children if your ass wasn't out there trying to get laid with people you didn't know. You can't get caught up in any scandal with a chick that's supposed to be a dude in the backseat of a car end up on TMZ if your ass wasn't out there trying to get laid inappropriately. If you wasn't outside doing stuff you ain't had no business doing, you would not get caught in negative situations. The only time that you will get caught in shit that is outside of your control is when you driving to and from work and get hit by somebody else's stupid fucking decisions. That is the only time you're gonna get caught up. Outside of the two black folks that got shot up in that Walmart because the man couldn't make it into that church. That's the only. That's it. That's it. Collateral damage as an innocent bystander. That's it. Beyond that, people end up in bullshit ass decisions because they made bad decisions and their bad decisions capitalized until they ended up in a situation where they were no longer able to control the outcome. Now that the circumstances are no longer in your favor and there are no more decisions that you can make, you got to ride the wave of a compound level of bad decisions. Now you just have to accept what they say. You made this bed, lie in it. You dug this grave, lay in it. That's exactly what the fuck happened. When you dig in the grave, that is 6 feet of shoveling shit, and now you got to lay in that motherfucker because you didn't put a ladder in that bitch, and you're not 6 feet tall. So in order for you to get yourself out of this problem, now somebody else got to throw you a rope and save your ass because you made mistakes. I teach people we can't be doing that no more. We can't be doing that no more. So no, we don't need Japan. We benefit from them. We don't need them. They don't need us, but they benefit from us. They benefit from us more than we benefit from them. They benefit from us because Americans are wasteful. America is identified as the richest country in the world because we make the most money and we spend all of it. That's why Americans are broke in a country that is the richest country in the world. You know, the median standard income of wealth in the world is between $30,000 and $50,000. So why the fuck is poverty line in the United States at $30,000? Answer me that. The logic behind that shit makes no fucking sense. If the median average of wealth in the world is $30,000 to $50,000, why the fuck does the poverty line stop in America at $30,000, where you're dirt poor at $30,000 in America? Because Americans are fucking wasteful. That's why. So everyone else in the world benefits from America because America will make millions of dollars and spend it the exact same fucking day. 90% of the people that come to this podcast will win the lottery tonight, cash the check next week, and be broke by June and still owe taxes on all of it next year, filing bankruptcy like MC Hammer. The top 1% is the top 1% because they don't spend the money that they don't need to spend. And likewise, with government, they don't spend the resources in America that they don't need to spend. That's the reason why they outsource and use other people's resources. We had the resources here, we outsource it somewhere else. We have labor over here, but we outsource it somewhere else. And we outsource it for cheaper because they'll answer the phones. Cuba's what, $13 a week? We got $24 an hour in America. We can outsource shit in other countries for far cheaper than what we get it in America. Nobody in America is willing to dig ditches or pluck oranges from farms and shit like that in America, pick cotton or nothing like that in America for less than $50 to $100 an hour. Your fucking grapes would be $70 for a fucking grape. Your salad would be fucking $75 if Americans were out there in the fields. Everybody was like, oh, immigration, immigration. But when you start pulling all the Mexicans out of the damn field, guess what happened? All the damn vegetables go up in price. Cost of construction goes up in price. I got a degree. I'm not building a house for less than $75,000 a year. Instead of the Mexicans that would have did it for $5 or $7 an hour. Now houses is going up $25,000 plus the cost of tariffs. Why? Immigration. People don't think about the indirect cost. And that's what we do here on this podcast. We piece together the indirect cost that leads to the direct impact of your wallet. So, if that $1 billion present was really just Iran letting tankers go through their existing customers in Asia, why would a political leader make sure that they claim that it's a gift to them, that it's a gift to us? Well, the answer is all about the power of a simple, compelling story. In the complex world of geopolitics, a story about receiving a personal gift is far more digestible than explaining maritime law and sanctions policies. The claim creates a simple, powerful political contrast. My opponent was weak and gave Iran cash. I was so strong, they gave me a multi-billion-dollar present. It's a clear and clean narrative that requires no understanding of OPEC quotas or the intrinsic expectations of international relations. So it's a story of a hero and a vanquished foe offering a tribute. We saw the same instincts at work in that Iran war cabinet meeting when Donald Trump literally stopped discussing about active conflicts, airport security, and rattled markets to show off a custom black and gold Sharpie. He spent several minutes telling a story about how he saved money, of which he did, because a pen originally was costing $1,000 a pen to be given away to a handful of people during executive order signings, and he reduced the cost down to fucking $5 a pen. So it's every time the president gives away a pen, he saves $995 per pen that he gave away. Give away 5,000 pens instead of giving away $50,000. He's now only giving away $25,000. Less money going out the window, right? But this is on presidential pens where he's holding the marker up like a prop while his advisors sat there to talk about war. It was a small moment, but revealing. In the middle of a real time security crisis, because TSA hasn't been getting paid for 2 months, he gravitated towards an ink pen, a story, and a brand. He name dropped Sharpie, right? So the same way he ounce used a Sharpie. And this isn't the only time he's done this, because he's done this once before, to redraw the hurricane map momentarily. He now is using it again in stories about Sharpies and oil tankers to redraw reality itself, turning complex, dangerous situations into simple tales where he always wins. Now, not doubting the man that he gonna win this. He gonna take everything he want to take from over there, hands down. He ain't gonna stop until there ain't no one left to fight back. Understand that. He ain't finished it yet. But this tactics works because it taps into our desire for simple answers. A lot of people are going to think, ooh, the war is almost over. Explaining how Iran used a dark fleet to evade sanctions and secretly sell oil to China is complicated. Saying they gave me a present is simple. Explaining the economic impact of risk premiums on oil features is abstract. Talking about a fleet of tankers is concrete. The function of a claim like this isn't to describe reality, it is to replace reality with a more politically useful story. The same way we lie to kids about Santa Claus and the Easter Bunny. We tell them about Santa Claus to get them to behave for 2 months out of the year right before Christmas time. We tell them about Easter so that they can behave right before March and April. We use it on them one more time before their birthday. Do what I say or you don't get shit. I'm going to tell Santa Claus so that you're not going to hold me responsible for you not getting what I don't want you to have because you didn't sit down when I told you to sit down and shut up. Right? Santa's going to put you on a naughty list. Remember back when we was growing up, Santa didn't put us on the naughty list. The Crumpets came and put fucking coal in our stocking. And we got an ass whooping with that sock full of coal. But this is going to build a persona of a master negotiator so powerful that other nations simply bow to his will. In this narrative, there are no complex global systems, only strong leaders and weak ones. We're very strong, they're very weak. We hold all the power. They don't have anyone else there for us to talk to because we blew up all of their leaders. We blew up the other leaders. We blew up the other. There's no one there to talk to. There's no one there to talk to. But someone was there. This is the right person. This is the right person we're supposed to talk to because he sent us 10 tankers, 20 tankers, 20 tankers of oil. He sent us them all. This is the one to talk to. We got the right guy now. See how that works? This is why fact checking is so critical. It's not just about correcting one falsehood, it is about recognizing when a narrative is being built to deliberately obscure a more complex and often less flattering truth. The story of the Iranian president was never really about oil tankers, it was about the assertion of a narrative over verifiable empirical facts. So if Iran wasn't giving away tankers, what was it doing with them? The real story is a cloak and dagger thriller of sanctions evasion, ghost fleets, and a high stakes game on the high seas. This is the reality that the present narrative completely obscures. After the US reimposed sanctions in 2018, Iran's official oil experts cratered. But Iran didn't just stop selling oil, it went into the black market business. I love the way we call it the black market. There ain't too many black folks in that market. I want to create a store that's called the black market. But they did business on a massive scale, developing what's known as a dark fleet. I want to buy myself a bunch of black vehicles and call it the dark fleet. Put gold trim on it and call it the gold standard. But this was to move its crude oil to willing buyers, chiefly China, because China will buy that shit. So here's how it's supposed to work: an aging tanker owned by a shell company turns off its location transporter, effectively going dark. It then meets an Iranian tanker in a remote location for a risky ship to ship transfer. The newly filled dark tanker then reappears, it's documented, forged to claim the oil is from Iraq and Malaysia, anywhere but Iran. This launder crude then heads to a refinery, often in China, which continues to buy Iranian oil despite US sanctions. This is a massive, sophisticated operation. By 2025, Iran had ramped its exports back up significantly in direct defiance of the United States policies. It was a multi-billion-dollar middle finger to the sanctions regime. So he was like Austin 316 to U.S. sanctions. This is the context for that present. The passage of tankers that Trump mentioned wasn't a gift to the US, it was Iran ensuring its own economic lifeline continued to flow to its own customers in spite of the war that's ongoing. So what a politician could then do to spin this particular type of scenario? The act of Iran letting its own business proceed in the middle of war, turn it into a story of a president. But letting an adversary successfully work around your primary economic weapon is hardly a victory. The real story is one of Iranian resilience and defiance. The claim of a president flips this on its head, turning an act of Iranian defiance into a story of American triumph, the way we did everything else with our American history. All of this talk of tankers and sanctions can feel abstract, but the tension in the Strait of Hormuz has a direct impact on people all over the world, including the prices that you pay at the pump. The global oil market runs on stability. Any threat to a checkpoint like choking off the Strait of Hormuz makes traders nervous, and that nervousness is priced into every barrel as a risk premium. When the strait is closed or threatened, that premium skyrockets. Economists have modeled this effect. A major distribution disruption in the strait can cause the price of oil to surge. As a rule of thumb, every $10 increase in a barrel of oil can translate to a 25-cent increase per gallon at the gas pump. So a surge in oil prices like the one that we seen during the 2026 crisis could mean an average family spending hundreds of dollars more per year just to get to work and to school. For industries like trucking and farming, the impact is even more severe, driving up the cost of groceries and consumer goods. This is the real economic story. The flow of oil through Hormuz isn't about a mythical gift, it is about the constant risk that can rise prices for everyone else. When political rhetoric focuses on the fabricated story of a president, it distracts from the fundamental truth that's escalating tensions in the Gulf that have a direct negative financial consequence for working families. The real headline isn't Trump gets a president. The real headline is tension in Hormuz could cost your family hundreds more a year in gas. That's the real headline. So let's go back to our initial question. Did Donald Trump receive $1 billion present from Iran? Our investigation found that while Trump did make this claim, it in reality is a story of political spin. The present was not a transfer of oil or money to the United States. It was Iran allowing tankers, like likely carrying its own oil to its own customers in Asia, to pass through a waterway that is controlled all during a tense military conflict and active negotiations, where they're bombing the fuck out of Iran while talking about stopping the bombing the fuck out of Iran. I'm going to ask you a quick question. I want to see what you think about it. If somebody was whooping your ass, would you give them a gift while they're still whooping your ass? Most people would say no. Most people would say, well, I'll fight back. I call my cousin. I get some backup. I be trying to fight off the fighter. No one would ever say, oh, yeah, I'm going to let him keep whooping my ass. I'm going to send him a gift. Keep getting my ass whooped. Because the fighting hasn't stopped. But when you think about that logic, did we really get a gift? Because if America would have truly got something out of this situation, outside of indirect benefits from Asia not charging as much for resources since they're getting the oil, don't you think we would stop? If the bully was beating your ass for your lunch money, you gave up your lunch money, wouldn't he stop beating your ass? So if you gave up your lunch money, why would the bully keep beating your ass? Because you didn't give him shit. That's exactly what's happening here. The claim of a president is a work of political fiction. It's a compelling narrative designed to project an image of personal strength, but it crumbles under scrutiny. It reframes a successful Iranian defiance of the United States policy as a tribute to American power. It replaces the complex reality of sanctions, dark fleets, and maritime brickmarkship with a simple story of a gift. In the end, the Sharpie on the cabinet table and the imaginary present from Iran do the same job. They turn a dangerous, complicated crisis into a TV prop and a punchy anecdote, even when the facts are pointing in the complete opposite direction. Fact checking this matter, the real story of the Strait of Hormuz, the shadow economy, and the economic ripple effect of conflict is far more important. And it teaches us how the global economy truly functions, how nations act under pressure, and how political language can be used to obscure facts rather than illuminate them. The truth is often more complicated and less satisfying. That's why a lot of people don't want to hear it. But it is the only foundation for a clear eyed view of the world. Now, we covered a lot of stuff over the last 2 hours. And I got to tell you, we're going to keep following this information, and I believe that, like I said, next Monday we're going to be coming in with some of the information from the backlash from Spain and see what's actually happening there. Because this stuff, as it unfolds, negatively impacts what our summer is going to look like: summer vacation, trips around the world, timeshare housing, everything to that effect. Because as trades, excuse me, as trades suck and international relations break down, everything that we depended on from other countries stopped coming to us, and we stopped being able to pay for it, or we pay higher prices for the same stuff. So you guys got to follow us every night of the week. We got a lot of information going, and if I find some information and curate it right before the show, I'll cover it at the top of the hour. Otherwise, every Monday I'm giving you guys information about this, but we got a lot of stuff coming up for the rest of the week. So you got to make sure that you keep coming back and finding out ways to navigate what's about to happen so that you can be prepared. By the time your next paycheck come in, you got your shit together. So on our way out, first thing we're gonna do is, ladies, as long as the situation doesn't make sense, I'm gonna keep asking you ladies to make it make sense. So ladies, please make it make sense. And then, fellas, I give you all this information to make you guys higher value men, not just by increasing your finances, but improving your decision making skills. Like I told you earlier in the night show, if you're able to pay attention to the things inside of your life that you're capable of controlling, the things that you don't like, you proactively put forth the effort to change those things, then you're capable of then navigating around the things that are outside of your control, which is what we spent all day talking about today, was how to navigate around the things that are outside of your control. Now, ladies, while this is a male driven podcast from the male's perspective, you too can benefit from the information that I give y'all to make yourselves higher value women. When you're paying attention to your 20 or 30-year plan, reverse engineering that plan to day to day actions today. And you start putting forth those actions in order to achieve that 20-year plan where you know where you're supposed to be at in the next 20 years. And you proactively pay attention to the people that you engage with, then you will find yourself only partnering with people that will aid you in your ability, not by living off of their wealth, but by working together as a team to reach those goals. And two people can make it to $1 million faster than one. Uh, okay, here's an interesting question. What's your thoughts on the billionaires who are ripping off the Iraqi people? Special shout out to Ducky. I don't see billionaires ripping off Iraqi people. I see that America had already conquered Iraq and Afghanistan, and I see that America is getting whatever they wanted from Iraq and Afghanistan since 9/11 occurred. And billionaires are taking from everybody, not just Iraq. They're taking from the 25% poor people in America, the 50% of people that are making above 50,000 but making less than 100,000. They're taking from every other country around the world, like Venezuela, Cuba. Um, they take what they buy what they can buy, and then they use their financial and political power and corporate power to force everyone else out. They global buyouts. They're going to do what they're going to do. And what do I think about that? I think that if you don't want to be conquered by the capitalist model, you need to change your mentality. That's what I think. I think that it makes more sense for you to make better financial decisions with your money so that you can no longer be part of the people that are being taken advantage of. Because if a $30,000 a year income can make it to $1 million, if a couple making 65 or $70,000 a year can make it to $1 million inside of 10 years, there's no reason why there's a poor financial class. The reason why there's a poor financial class is because 25% of America will spend the government's money and spend their own money on bullshit and never come up. The 25% of poverty that's above the poverty line, that's making more than 30,000 a year but less than $75,000 a year, is able to do the exact same thing just at a more expensive level. The reason why people are living from paycheck to paycheck, even at $250,000 a year, is because they're fucking wasteful. So it's not just that the billionaires are taking anything from anybody; it's the fact that people are giving it away for the sake of entertainment, living the same life, keeping up to the Joneses, living a life of Rowley, borrowing against a stone because they want a fictitious lifestyle that they can't afford to have, and they're willing to pay more than what they make in order to get that lifestyle. But if you live at 30% of your income, the billionaires ain't taking your fucking money because you start living like a billionaire too. He said BlackRock is buying the Iraqi homes, marketing or buying Iraqi homes, making them more expensive. That's called real estate. That's not called ripping off Iraqi people. Now, I cover a different country around the world every night, or not every night, but every Wednesday. And most countries have a special economic zone, and in those special economic zones, the um, the country will provide corporations uh, uh, um, rebates, tax cuts, incentives to rebuild or build up the at-risk communities, which is the poor class of every country. Every country is offering that. Okay, so BlackRock and plenty of other real estate investment entities, where BlackRock itself might be an umbrella company that is owning a shell corporation, that is owning a shell corporation, that is owning a real estate investment trust that's over there in Iraq buying up property. Might be how it's going, right? But the company that's over there in Iraq is buying up property or buying up land, building on that land, and either renting it out or selling it for profit. Low income housing is needed everywhere around the world. We are missing what 3 million or so, more or less, homes in America. We don't have enough homes. There's a shortage of homes. That's one of the reasons why rent is able to go up, because not everybody has a place to stay. The cost of living is so expensive that nobody can afford to live alone. If you built a real estate investment trust in America and then did a foreign domestic in another country, you could too go to Iraq, Iran, Afghanistan, Japan. It's easier to do it in Japan because you can buy land in Japan and the fucking land costs less than damn property taxes in America. You can buy 1,000 acres for like $800 because the land is free. The house loses value over there because it depreciates in value like a car. You can go to Japan and buy 1,000 acres for $800. Pay the property taxes and it's yours. You can pay the government to rezone the place and then build whatever the fuck you want to build on it. And with America, any international profits you make in another country, you claim it on your taxes in America. America gives you like 150 to $250,000 worth of tax deductions on the money that you're spending in another country. So they're not you could spend $250,000 in Japan building up property and not have to pay taxes in America because of it. So is BlackRock bad for taking advantage of the capitalist model? No. Is BlackRock such a villain for building houses in other countries? No. Oprah was building houses in Africa when we had homeless people in the Bronx. Was it bad that she was building houses in Africa? No. But at the end of the day, you're not paying attention to what happened. There was a demand. the pain point of that country where you would financially benefit from supplying that demand. BlackRock saw the demand, they filled the demand, they turned a profit off of the demand. That is capitalism. You capitalize off of the weak, you capitalize off of the ignorant, you capitalize off of the desperate. Okay? That's just how capitalism works. So if they can't do it for themselves, they pay you to do it. They're too lazy to do it for themselves, they pay you to do it. They're too stupid to do it for themselves, they pay you to do it. You turn a profit off of somebody else's problem. That's capitalism. So, how is Iraq ripping off Iraqi people? Because he already conquered the country, and then they were spending. This is the other part that makes your last statement ridiculous. Because after they conquered the country, during a time of Hurricane Katrina, instead of them rebuilding Louisiana, they were spending $13 million a week rebuilding Iraq and Afghanistan. So how are they ripping off Iraq when they were spending $13 million a week rebuilding over there? It wasn't spending $13 million a week rebuilding in America. They were spending $13 billion a week rebuilding in Iraq and Afghanistan. So how are they ripping off Iraq and Afghanistan? These are the fact check scenarios that we correct in this show, and we try to make it make sense. So that's all I got for you guys for tonight. I want to thank you guys for coming to This and That. I'm your host, Xander, where we talk about this, that, and everything in between. And I'll see you guys tomorrow night.
Higher ground!